Hi, you're listening to the Rav Dessler Giving Podcast with me, Avram Ziedman. Join us as we weave together philosophy, psychology, and Kabbalah to uncover a new depth to what it means to being a giver. Okay, I'm very excited to do this podcast. The question is, why is my hunger never satisfied? I buy a mobile phone. I've been wanting this mobile phone for ages, and I finally get it. Yes! And then it just takes me, a few weeks, and I'm bored with it, and I'm looking at the next iPhone. Actually, it's not iPhone, it's Samsung. I prefer that way more. But anyway, we're not going to get into that debate. But what just happened there? I really, really wanted it, and then it just goes. This desire for it goes, and now I need the next one. I don't understand. What happened? Why can't it be that when I get the phone, I'm just as happy with it as I started? It seems to be that any position I get into, I'm excited for the new position, and then it goes. I want the next thing. Human beings are so complicated. Why is it that something which originally causes happiness doesn't last? Why does happiness not last? And the answer is so cool. Here we go. Being a taker is a desire to draw inwards towards yourself. When a person has this hunger, they think that what they really want is this specific object. I want that money. I want that phone. But you're wrong. You don't want the phone. Really? You don't want the money. Really? No. What do you want? I want to expand. I want to draw in towards me. My desire is not for the thing. My desire is to draw in that which is outside of me. When I don't have the phone, I want it because I don't have it. Once I've got it, you haven't satisfied my desire because the desire is expansion of self. So when you don't have it, you want it because it's outside of you. You have a momentary pleasure as you drawing it towards you, and your whole sense of ego, your whole sense of self expands that now I own also this mobile phone, the money, or whatever it is, the position. But then once you've got it, there's no more expansion. And the whole desire is to expand. A very rich businessman who was working incredibly long hours and stressing over his work, and he pays a fortune to the private doctor. And the doctor says, look, you're spending a fortune on these bills. How about you work less hard, less pay, but then you won't need to pay for my bills? He said, no, you don't get it. The money that I've already got, that doesn't satisfy me anymore. I've already achieved it. I've conquered it. So you can have it. It's the money out there that I don't have. That's what I want. Now, I may know this fact in my head, but if I don't feel it in my heart, that means I don't have the point. Now, I know in my personal life, I have this continuously. There's always that newest thing out there that I really want. People think there's a specific item that they want. It's not that. It's precisely the chase. It's the feeling of growing and getting bigger and bigger. That's what people want. I'll give you an example from a TV series from when I was a kid called The X-Files. And without going into too much detail, there were two agents, one called Mulder, one called Scully, and they were always investigating supernatural events. Mulder always saying this must be magic and the supernatural, and Scully saying there always has to be a scientific explanation. And throughout all the series, 1, 2, 3, 4, there was always some connection between the two. And the question is when are they finally going to fall in love? Come on, when is it going to actually happen? It's been so long, everybody wants that. Why won't the series let them finally get together? That's what everyone wants. They did. And then nobody watched it afterwards. The whole series flopped. People think that they wanted to see them together. Because there was a drive and there's still movement to move closer and closer, I feel like there's the chase out there. They were interested. But the moment the chase was won, they got together. All right, so what's the point watching anymore? There's no more chase anymore. The end. No longer interested in watching. There is a computer game which has made millions upon millions with all the different variations called Temple Run. Now, for those who don't know what Temple Run is, it goes as follows. You're a little character and you just have to run. And you have to avoid obstacles and you can either go straight, left or right. I don't know if in variations you can jump and stuff, but that's pretty much it. The thing is this, it's impossible to beat the game because the game is infinite. So you can never win the game. But people play this, I assume, for hours and hours and hours. The amount of people in the world who play Temple Run. Why? Because there's this feeling of, I'm achieving. 1 minute. If anyone stopped and took to heart, I don't mean their brain, took to heart, you can never win this game. You're fooling yourself when you're playing the game. The reason why you're enjoying the game is because you feel like you're achieving, you're moving, but you're not. You're never, ever gonna win because you can't win. If a person takes that to heart, they'll stop playing the stupid game because what's the point? You can't beat it. But people live in this fantasy-fooled world where they feel like, no, if I just get that, I'm going to be happy. If I just get X, Y, and Z, that's what I've wanted. It's not what you wanted. Your desire is to expand your sense of self. In the advertising world, what do they say? Sell the sizzle. You see the food out there, and you hear the tss. Oh, I really want those. More than the food itself, it's them tempting you, tantalizing you with what's coming up. That's what sells. Because when you see that food, that I'm going to be eating it, there's an excitement. What's going on? I'm going to be fulfilled. I'm going to have a bigger me. But then once you've eaten it, oh, it's done now. What's next? We start one project, it motivated, and we finish it. Now what? Feel empty. Start a new project. Why is it when people retire, sometimes they feel empty? Because people think, no, my goal is to get to the stage of retirement. I've made it. I've done it. That's not. What's kept a person alive, enthusiastic, is that they've been living a life of hunger. I'm going to fulfill this. The thing is, once they get there, there's no more expansion of self, and therefore there's no enjoyment. The world has fooled us. We fool ourselves continuously. In fact, the wisest man of all time, Shlomo HaMelech, he says, Hevel Havalim Hakol Hevel. Empty of empties, everything is empty. What does that mean? He says the pursuit of happiness, you could say, is empty. That's before we get it. And then after we've got it, that's also empty. It didn't make us happy. Hakol Hevel, let that be a rule. That, let me just tell you, the next desire you're going for, the next mobile phone, trust me, that's also not going to cause you satisfaction. And yet, time and time again, we keep on looking for the chase. There has to be another way. But before we do that, in the next podcast, I want to go even deeper and really look at why is it that my drive, my hunger and ambition for physicality is not going to make me happy. But until then, to put it succinctly, be great, be a giver. Hunger ain't going to make you happy. This podcast was proudly brought to you by Gift, where we're on a mission to inspire and enable lifelong giving. If you've enjoyed this episode and want to continue exploring the art of giving with us, please subscribe.